Good evening. Thank y'all for being here for such an important election. My name's Russell Cole and I'm running to be your next county judge. A little bit about myself. I'm a Rockport Fulton graduate, served my country in the United States Navy, honorably discharged, got out, had a very, very successful career with a company out of Corpus called Berry Bay Contracting, where I started as a laborer and worked up to a project manager. As a project manager, I was over projects. I think the biggest one I did was 15 million. But you talk about budgeting and finishing on time. That was important. I'm going to bring that experience to the county. Why I'm running? I'm running because Aransas County deserves clear direction, steady leadership, accountability, transparency, and a team that works together. I want to talk a little bit about accountability and transparency. 2024 under Ray Garza's watch, the taxes went up 23.2%. 2025, 9.8%. 2026, 9.15%. That's not conservative. That's reckless. And I don't know if anybody's heard this, but did y'all know that the Aransas County credit rating was downgraded 3 months ago? And I'm going to tell you what the S&P had to say. The downgrade reflects a multi-year trend of deficits, partially driven by capital expenditures, but mostly by what we view as imbalanced operations, which resulted in sustained draws on reserves to level that no longer comparable with those of AA peers. The negative outlook reflects our view of one in three chances.
You gotta be the hated guy in the room all the time, right?
Next, we're going to hear from Ray Garza.
All right, good evening. From the very beginning, my goal was simple. Let's get back to the basics and focus on what really matters. And that's being responsible with your tax dollars, fixing roads and drainage, supporting the people who keep us safe, and protecting property and our natural resources. Those weren't campaign lines, those were a roadmap. And today I can say that these promises were kept. We started fiscal discipline through careful budgeting and tough decisions. We have reduced the county deficit. It was pretty big, sitting at $3 million. We've also increased the homestead exemption, providing real tax relief to you guys, homeowners. On roads and infrastructure, we focus on results. We finished major streets and drainage projects that have been needed for years. By working with the Council of Governments, we secured a $10.2 million grant for projects, with $2.2 million going directly to the town of Fulton. Public safety was also a priority. We increased funding to our volunteer fire departments and EMS, and we added funding to the Sheriff's Department to put more deputies on the road. We took meaningful steps to address flooding and protect water. Through a grant, we are updating the Aransas County Master Drainage Plan. We also restructured the Stormwater Management Technical Committee into a multi-jurisdictional group of experts, taking politics out of the conversation. We work to protect what makes Aransas County special, and that is preserving our natural environment. We secured the purchase of the Bailey Ranch through a GLO grant, and we are committed to maintaining the Cedar Bayou. These efforts protect both our environment and our economy. Throughout my time in office, I focused on transparency, sound judgment, and steady leadership. We opened the doors, brought conversations into the light, and changed the culture of how our county government operates. And we don't want to go back to the way it was. These accomplishments all come with that simple philosophy that county government should be grounded, practical, and focused on the basics that matter to everyday people, that matter to you guys. I ask for your vote to re-elect me. Thank you.
Okay, the first question is for candidate Ray Garza. How do you feel about the financial state of our county, and what are you doing to make it better?
I feel very positive about our financial state of the county. When I took office, we were working on multi-year deficits. It's hard to recover from that. We have had to raise taxes. 4 years ago at the women's club, when we had a forum, someone asked me if I'm gonna reduce taxes, and I told you straight up, I was honest with you. How can you reduce taxes with a multi-year deficit? Taxes were going up. But I've also increased the homestead exemption to give y'all some relief. I'm very good about, or very positive about our financial outlook. One more time.
I think we're in hell of a shape. I mean, just, we have attorney fees. It's been over, since he's been in office, $2.5 million. They're gonna go up. We got lawsuits that need to be settled. Until, we gotta get on the right track here. We can't keep going backwards. Got a courthouse we can't even move into, halfway. We have no idea when we're gonna be able to move in that courthouse. Now more than ever, Aransas County needs positive leadership, and I'm the person that can do that. Thank you.
Hey, Carl, is there a rebuttal with this? Nope.
There's just
Okay.
one response, but we have another question for you. This question is for Ray Garza. Single audit findings can jeopardize eligibility for federal grants. In 2023 and 2024, auditors cited the county for 2 findings and inaccurate reporting, for 2 findings. 1, inaccurate reporting, making it less likely to detect fraud, and lack of controls over cash totaling $4.5 million in restricted grant funds used for the courthouse. Please explain.
So, we have a treasurer's office that keeps us straight. We have an auditor's office that keeps us straight. Where you're talking about an audit from the third-party auditor, and there were some findings of, I wouldn't say misplacement, we were taking their direction. So apparently they don't like to see zeros or negatives, because the account that the courthouse is being built of, that was in the negative. So we were taking money from positive accounts and putting in a negative account. Money wasn't missing, money wasn't taken. This is what the third-party auditors requested. This is what they wanted done. As soon as that audit was complete, the money was moved back. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that, and that's why at this last budget season, I brought before the court to borrow money, so that we're not to borrow money with the tax notes. We took out $6 million to finish that courthouse.
Thank you.
Okay, if we're talking, the funds were taken from the Waterway Restoration Fund, which was a federal grant and donations from the people for Cedar Bayou. There was roughly $5 million and something taken out of that, transferred to the courthouse fund, to the general fund. I don't really know which one. But what scares me, there's not a resolution on how we're going to pay that back. I'm assuming if I ask Ray, he's going to say we're going to win one of these lawsuits we're in. There's no guarantee. That's gambling with your taxpayers' money.
Okay, the next question is for Russell Cole. Russell, the state of Texas uses tax increment reinvestment zones as a tool to attract employers and businesses. If elected, would you be willing to work with the city of Rockport by serving on the TERS board to help with funding the infrastructure and improve downtown Rockport?
When I'm elected county judge, I will be 100% for that TERS. Just like Scott said, it has to be done right. But, we need to build our tax base. We need to build our tax base. We need positive growth. And that is one tool we can to do the downtown project, but it's also going to help the area around with drainage and, roads. So yes, I'm for a TERS, and I'm for any kind of development that is positive. And we also need to work with the EDC, Economic Development Council. We got plenty of opportunities. We got waterways out there. We got plenty of land If we work with the EDC, we can bring in positive growth.
We do need to build our tax base. We do need to grow that tax base, but not on the backs of the hardworking people in Aransas County that pay taxes. So I was the only person in Aransas County that voted no on the TERS. I didn't vote because I'm against development. I voted because I'm not going to vote on something that I don't completely understand, and I'm sorry about that. In fact, we don't have an agreement right now because there's a lot of questions that are being asked. The court, we voted to participate in the TERS, but we don't have an agreement with the city. We're still working on that, and the commissioners are asking a lot of questions.
Thank you. The next question is for Ray Garza. Ray, what are you doing to actively promote our county for industry, clean industry, or businesses?
I'm working with the EDC, I'm working with Jeff, I'm working with anybody who talks to me. And the one thing I do want to stress is that our quality of life. Tourism is one of our biggest industries, and I believe that the county's responsibility is maintaining our pathways project, because that will draw tourists here. And we've got a new pathways board. We've got a new person working, the pathways coordinator, doing a fantastic job. I also want to work with the city. You know, they got that new bureau, visitor bureau. I want to fund them to help promote the city, because tourism is our biggest industry. But yeah, anybody, I have meetings every day about people wanting to come, and if I don't want smokestacks, and I believe I want what y'all want. So if y'all have ideas, give me a call. You got my cell number. It's always open.
Thank you.
EDC, very important. I agree with Ray. We don't want smokestacks. But like I said, positive growth. You know, the downtown anchor project, that's positive growth. You know, we got an intercoastal waterway that runs from Florida down to the valley. You know, we got property, we could utilize that. We need to hook up with the Port of Corpus Christi. They're growing. Let's work with them. Let's
We have one more question for these candidates. This is the last question. It's directed to Ray Garza. Ray, we currently have a 2-story courthouse that costs more than the original bid and is too small for all the offices and courtrooms in one location. You ran your first campaign on transparency and financial responsibility. So what is the cost to county taxpayers to rent space to accommodate the loss of almost 13,000 square feet of space that your supporters petitioned against the $24 million bonds to rebuild the courthouse we lost?
So that courthouse, when they signed the dotted lines, it was $1 million over budget on day one. Yeah, they rushed it. It was rushed. You know, we don't have an aquarium right now because we are uber planning. We are planning the heck out of that aquarium. It's only 4,000 square feet. That courthouse went from 3-story to 2-story in a matter of months and into construction. So that is, I think that's a mistake of who was in charge at the time. But yeah, those courtrooms, it's a courthouse. Those courtrooms are too small. The biggest courtroom we've got holds 50 people. And it was just bad design. Like I said, that was designed before I took office. Someone signed off on it. Still haven't had an answer who signed off on it, but it wasn't me. Bad design, so we're gonna have to utilize that district court that we have now to hold Verdire and possibly hold district court. And
Here we go with excuses and blaming somebody else. Ray Garza has been in office 3 years and 36 days. The courthouse program of April of 2022, he took office January 2023. He even said in the paper, quoted in the paper saying, I didn't know the plans weren't complete. He is the CEO, CFO of the county. The first thing that should have been done was, look at those plans. Let's see what we gotta do. Let's see what we gotta change. He took office.
Okay. That wraps up our questions. Now we're gonna hear the closing statements from our county judge candidates.
Who goes first?
Russell goes first on that.
Okay, now more than ever, Aransas County needs a strong, competent leader. I have the background, experience, and the dedication, and I'm ready to prove that to the residents of Aransas County. Look for my name at the top of the ballot because Aransas County deserves to be first, not last. I'd appreciate your vote March 3rd.
All right. You know me and you know how I lead. I'm not loud. I'm not flashy. Just steady, practical, and I work focused on what matters most. Like I said, we get county government back to the basics, and we did. We brought fiscal discipline, tax relief, and improvement to roads and drainage, strong support for law enforcement, first responders, and a renewed focus on protecting your property and your natural environment. Just as important, we changed how county government operates. We opened the doors, we brought conversations into the light, we made transparency and steady leadership the standard, not the exception. This election isn't about promises, it's about proven results and leadership style you've already seen. I ask for your vote to continue the work we've started to keep Aransas County moving forward. We certainly don't want to go backwards. Thank you.